Hi, and thank you for tuning in to Street Therapy. I'm your host, Tyra Jackson, and today we have a very special guest. She's an amazing speaker. She's an intelligent businesswoman, and she's also an author, Ms. Shelon Douglas.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on Street Therapy today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Tyra. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So, are you originally from LA?
Not quite, but kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
But what I mean by that is originally I'm born from Akron, Ohio, but I've been in LA since 2.5. So all I really know is LA still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So give us a little bit of background.
Well, my background, I always say I'm a jade of all trades just because I have a little bit of almost everything, but just to be specific and narrow it down, my background is in real estate, doing mortgage lending, as well as having the experience to work as a CEO in an equities firm. And in addition to that, I've worked for a couple of different colleges, mainly UCLA, which is where I attended also briefly. So I have a little bit of experience on both corporate side and education side.
A little bit experience. It doesn't sound like a little bit experience. Isn't she so modest? Well, I mean, you know, it's so funny. I wanted to have you on the show today because I think knowing business is so important, especially in the Black community. We don't know a lot about business investments. We don't know about finances, and I definitely know from the last time we met, you spoke so well, and I said I had to have her on the show. And I read somewhere that you bought your first house at 19 years old.
Yes. I get asked that question quite a bit, and the true answer to that is to really say that I had some really good, phenomenal people, mentors around me at the time. I guess they saw value in me at such a young age and decided to introduce me to a career that I didn't know at the time that would be a career, but introduced me into the real estate industry and, you know, taught me some things as far as investing, how to get into the real estate business with flipping homes at the time. And I just happened to be 19. I always hung around an older crowd, so I'm kind of happy at this point in my life that I was around some older individuals that could give me some great tips, introduce me to a world that I did not even know existed, and then also they held my hand, and that was very important for me. So, but if you don't even mind me saying that was at 19, but I actually started working at 13. So I was already used to somewhat having a little bit of independence and responsibility, and already like a go-getter and money hungry. So by the time I was 19, I was ready to kind of take a leap, is what they say, and get into that business. And I'm happy that it did, because it put me on the path that I'm on right now.
Now, out of every, you know, normally, you know, someone at 13, she's thinking about, you know, boys, you know, nothing near to, you know,
I still was thinking about boys at 13.
You know, because at 13, I can't remember, you know, too much of having a job. I think I didn't have my job until I was about 16. But out of every career that you could have chosen, why was it real estate?
Well, again, like I said, I didn't even know real estate existed. It just so happened that I was around an influential people at that time that they were older than me, so they were already doing real estate investing. And they said, you know something, I'd like to introduce you to get into this game of real estate, learn how to do investments, flip homes, and because I didn't even know at that time that I could even have a license doing it. And I followed their advice, and I have to say that, I mean, at 19, especially what was the icing on the cake for me is at 19, I bought my first piece of property, and then I did a flip investment, and I made $25,000 really quick and easy. And at 19, that feels like you're on top of the world. So I have to be honest and say that it wasn't so much that I looked for it or went after it. I just happened to be around really good people.
Okay, so you said you made your first $25,000. Now, did you know what to do with it when you first made it?
Put it into another home and do it again, make some more money. I was smart enough to know that, you know, once the $25,000 runs out, what was I going to do next? You know, so that's what really, I mean, to just see how easy it was, and then on top of that, it was legal, not illegal. it just excited me, and I wanted to learn more, which I did, and I wanted to continue on a path that had just gotten started for me. So.
Okay. Well, I know you have a few things going on right now. I heard about Change America, and I wanted you to talk about that because it's dealing with the youth and it talks about finances, if I'm correct. Can you tell us about Change America?
I would love to. Change America actually got started after the real estate industry took an implosion back in 2000. I believe it was 2000. It started in 2007, but it really started falling down around 2008, 2009. And so at that time, I had to make some really tough choices and decisions as to what I was going to do within the real estate. After all, that was all I had been doing for so many years. And so Change America actually got started after I closed my doors. I had a 5-office firm that I grew from a 2-man office to a 5-office firm in less than a year. And so when I realized that I was no longer inside of my company, I no longer had a career in real estate, I decided to just take a break. It was too much to deal with at the time. I looked at my 2 kids and realized that all the knowledge and experience that I had, I needed to pass this along to my children in case anything had happened to me. And so by me actually having a close look at that and having a passion to wanting to make sure that I fed my kids with the type of knowledge and information that mommy had, then I started to realize that, well, not just my 2 kids, a lot of kids could use this because it wasn't being taught in school.
Right.
Financial literacy was not one of the key sources of information during that time, but because of so many different industries taking a dive, which real estate happened to be the first industry to implode like it did, with everything with the different industries collapsing, that's when people started to notice that what we need to bring about change, and we have to start with our kids. And so when I realized that my kids lacked information, I had just decided to try to do something about it and come up with a program of my own, and therefore I called it Change America, EMBA. And we did a pilot in 2010, and it was very successful. It was, and actually we didn't consider it a financial literacy program, we considered it a financial entrepreneur literacy program because those are 2 different types of learning, a learning style, if I may say it like that. And we realized, we got about 13 kids to join that program, and we spent our own money to do that program, and just to see how well they took to the program, how excited they were to learn. And I could say one of the main reasons why is because of the fact that they were learning about ownership. Okay, so it was, I was happy that we did that because of the fact that out of that program was birthed another program, but it also opened up opportunities in networking. It gave us a chance to show what we could do, what we could teach, and what we could basically place within the children and allow them. You saw a difference too when they saw that they could learn not only about money, but how money could be applied to something that they own. It's a little different. So that was a really great experience. I'm happy we did that.
I admire you so much, and our
Thank
youth,
you.
Definitely, needs to know more about not only our youth, people, like my age. I've heard somewhere where it says African American community is liquid money, and I don't know if you've read that. You heard it on, I've seen that somewhere, and
No.
that's another reason why I wanted to kind of do this show to talk about how important it is to understand money. And I remember hearing you say one time, we should respect money.
Oh yeah.
And can you, talk a bit about why you say that?
I would love to. I say that I speak from personal experience, so it's not something that I just came up with. And the reason why I say that, if you don't respect money, then it won't respect you, is because of the fact that, just like we are human beings, and in order for me to know, about Tyra Jackson, I have to learn, I have to get to know you, and I have to respect you. right? Well, not that money is a human being, but money plays a key factor that if you don't know how money works, you know, and you disrespect it by just, and I say it like that because, you know, people have bad spending habits and, you know, they don't know anything about investments, and they'll be so quick to take, you know, they live in from check to check, but they'll be so quick to take this one check to go buy, you know, something that's so expensive that really is not a part of their lifestyle, but they want to play a role that it is. And the next thing you know, a crisis take place, and
nothing.
You know, and that's what I mean by respecting money, because of the fact that, you know, you might, there's times, and I don't want to sound like I'm rambling, I guess there's a lot that's coming to my mind as to why I make that comment about respecting money. There's times to where, you know, I was making $150,000, you know, a month in my office. Ooh. And and that wasn't right away. Right. That was not right away. I mean, again, but at the same time, I just remember that when I had to close those doors, it was at a time after that where I didn't even have $5 in my pocket, you know, to put gas in my car. And it's knowing both sides to know that, wow, at one time I had so much money in my bank account, you know, me going to go to the Gucci store or something like that to go spend $2,500, and it doesn't even pinch, you know, my pocket. And then here it is. I wish, you know, during this time I would do anything to have that $2,500 sitting in my account. And so it wasn't until the experience was a great teacher that really opened my eyes as to, wow, I just really didn't respect money at the time that I had so much coming in. Because I had so much coming in, it was just like, you know, I didn't think too much about it. So that's pretty much.
Well, so you hear that? So if anyone's listening out there, you need to learn how to respect money. And
Definitely.
I'm pointing to myself as well. And I also, you're author. You know, now what's the name of your book that you?
The name of the book series is called Turnkey, Your Model, Your Business Model. And I say it's a book series title because every book will have Turnkey, Your Business Model. But then the segment following that will be specifically talking about that particular subtitle of the book. So the one that is upcoming is Becoming the Business Architect of Digital Innovation. So that's what the focus is on.
Now, with all this new technology, and you just, you know, we're going to talk about, you said digital innovation. What is exactly digital innovation?
And I'm glad you asked. And let me kind of go backwards a little bit, because I do want to mention that Change America was the birthing of BizTech IQ. Okay. And so Change America was about financial entrepreneurial literacy for youth between middle school and high school. Okay. But in doing that program and opening up my network to a broader range, it allowed me to come in contact with some of my colleagues to this day that said, well, Shelon, we need the same thing that you taught to the kids. So therefore, BizTech IQ was born, because a part of the program for Change America, we had a section on for teaching the kids how to use and adapt to technology. And so when it was brought to my attention, the need for adults, I took the highest rating out of our surveys, which was technology, and decided to put together my first technology platform, because I saw that it would have more of an effect as far as grabbing a reach and being able to. And I loved, at that time, I really enjoyed doing the technology with the kids as well. And so therefore, BizTech IQ was born. And from me having my own experience again and developing my own platform, and now coming in contact with developers and software, you know, engineers and so on and so forth, the people who are behind the technology, I just fell in love with development, of being able to create portals, being able to learn about different types of technology. And so digital just happens to be in the space that I just really just fell head over heels for. And basically digital innovation, when I talk about that, we use it every day, whether you are aware of it or not. You know, you have your mobile phone, you have your iPad, you have your desktop, you have your tablet. Well, those are different devices, right, that we use to get to digital content, right, that is innovative. So pretty much when I talk about digital innovation, it's just basically the type of content that can be distributed. You know, right now, how we're being filmed, this content is going to be uploaded into YouTube. Well, that's digital content. What makes it innovative is how we go about to use that content to make whatever it is we're trying to do, make other people's lives better. So that's pretty much, you know, in a quick little nutshell about digital innovation. It takes more than that to really get into digital innovation, but we do have training programs. And
oh, yes, we're going to get to that because I know
different things
a lot
like
of people
that
would be very interested in it. You know, with starting a business. I mean, how does one even tap into their purpose? A lot of people want to start businesses, but they wouldn't even know the first thing to do. So what would be your advice to someone that would like to start a business, but they don't know where to start?
I think that's an excellent question. Over my years of being in business and finding my path my own self, I would get asked that question a lot. Shelon, how did you know you what you wanted to do? How did you get started? And for me, I really did not know in the beginning. I was fortunate again to have great mentors by my side, or people to say, let me introduce you to something. But I still had to find my path, you know, along the way, because like, again, when the real estate industry imploded, it was like, what am I going to do next? You know, my career and my company both had to take a dive. So what am I going to do? And I loved doing real estate. That was a passion for me. So to answer your question, now what I realize is that your personal purpose should align with your business purpose. They go hand in hand. And as far as trying to figure out what to do for a business, it should be something I always tell whenever I'm speaking or presenting or doing a workshop. We're servant leaders when we're doing a business. Understand why you're getting into business in the first place. You know, if I hear answers or if I ask the question, why are you getting into business? And I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, oh, I just, you know, because I want the financial freedom. I want to make a lot of money and I want to make money in my sleep, or I just want to be my own boss. I don't want to have to, you know, do what other people tell me to do. All of those reasons are not good enough. Not one of them are good enough. You should start your business along a path that you know that's going to be helping other people. You're going to help to bring about change for the good. You're going to realize that you're a servant leader within your business, and it should be something that you enjoy doing, that you naturally do, that you may not have taken time to even consider, because of the fact that when you can align those things all together, when times get rough in your business, and you notice I didn't say if.
Right,
when the times get rough, then you have a foundation as far as you have passion about your business, because it's aligned with your personal purpose. And at the same time, you know that with your because we can all have passions. Right? We can all have things that we're passionate about, but is that going to help your customers? Is it going to make the lives of your customers better? Is it going to bring about innovation? Is it going to bring about what we call pain points? Is it going to be a solution to those pain points to your customers? So those are the type of things that you have to consider. And it's always a process and everything. So it's a little process, you know, in the beginning. You don't have to know exactly if you're trying to do this for the first time. But once you have a guide, such as like a mentor or a coach, to point out certain things to you that way, then the light bulbs start to come on, like, wow, wait a minute, I am good at this. And this, if it helped me, you know, with whatever my pain point is, I'm sure it can help a lot of other people too. So there's a process and a strategy to it as well.
So it's like, you know, finding a need and servicing it.
Definitely.
You know, and
the key is to always look at the pain point and have a solution to cater to the pain point. Because when you have a solution, then that automatically creates value. And if your customers need a solution to the pain point and you have it to give, they're going to value what it is that you have to offer to them, and they're willing to invest their money into your product or your solution.
And we also talked about something I think is very key, how important it is to be authentic, to be, and having integrity in business. Because a lot of people, you know, we don't trust. You know, it's what is your
especially in the 21st century, things have shifted. The paradigm is different. Right now, when I say we, I'm talking about us as a collaborative, as consumers and customers. We want to trust that you are an expert at whatever it is that you're delivering to us. And so one of the key factors here is you being authentic. You know, how genuine are you about really taking care of, because let me say this, it's not about, when you're putting something together, it's not about you as the creator. So what? I mean, this is something you're coming up with, but your customers care about themselves. What is this going to do for me?
Right.
Right? So therefore, yes, you know, you definitely want to keep in consideration that when you are producing and you are creating or you are inventing, you are innovating, and I use all those words carefully, that you must have authenticity wrapped in that as well. Because nowadays, with a great product, people still want to know who's behind the product. You know, if I say Apple, who do you think of? Steve Jobs. I didn't mean to put you on.
Thank you, Shelon. Just go on and put me on blast. You know, I had to catch
I didn't mean it like that. No,
Thank
but
you, Marty Boo.
but you know,
Yeah.
but you see what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, people want to know who's behind the product, and they want to know more. You know, they're inclined to, wow, how did you come up with something like that? You know, the brilliance, which is what I like to call the inner blueprint brilliance. They want to, you know, come in contact with the brains behind the solution that's been created for them,
Yeah,
especially if
that's
it's innovative.
So how important is networking? Because you know,
Oh my gosh.
because I get so nervous. I get so nervous sometimes when, you know, I have to network with people. I get really shy. But I know that I need to in order to get business and to get, you know, people to see what it is that I'm doing. How important is networking?
It is one of the most important factors of your business. Without networking, how can you meet partners? Without partners, how can you leverage your product or whatever it is you have to offer? Without networking, how can you meet sponsors? You know, how can you meet potential customers and clients? You have to network. And if it is, you know, something to that nature to where, like you were just saying, how, you know, you're kind of to yourself or you get quiet or you don't like to network. And we had a little conversation about that before the show. My thing is, you have to come out of that box. In order to make it to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to, or else if you don't come out of that box, it's just like saying this, you know, if you're out there, you come up with something and you're out there, right? But nobody knows you exist.
Right.
Because you're just standing in the middle of the crowd being quiet. Then you're just going to get sucked into the crowd. No one knows that you exist. So you need to network and you need to practice, do whatever you got to do, you know, family, friends, just to do some practice. I'm just throwing it out there if you're shy. But for the meantime, I would say go online, go to different platforms like meetup.com, see what type of networking opportunities that are, you know, taking place. They have meetup groups all the time. Search for one in your area, but at the same time, make sure you fine tune it to whatever it is that you really want to get into. And they have, you know, when you network, there's different styles of networking too. Because sometimes if you're trying to network and find customers, then you don't want to network. Say, for example, if you're a real estate agent, and I'm going to use that for right now, I don't want to go to a networking group of real estate agents to look for customers. But I might want to go to, you see what I'm saying? I might go to a networking group that's like full of contractors or attorneys or CPAs, people who can be a referral channel for me. So those are just things that, you know, keep that in consideration too. But I would always try to see what's going on, what's local, something that I can maybe just to kind of attend and just see what it's like, you know, get yourself out and get your position yourself to be in that environment.
And, you know, you talked about, you know, I hear you say a couple of times, mentorship. You know, how important is it to have someone mentor us?
It's just as important, if not more important than networking. You're asking some really great questions, very valuable. The reason why I say mentorship and coaching, because that individual or a team can help you shorten the distance. You want to position yourself around people who have done what you're trying to do, if they're not still doing it. You want that knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Yes.
So if I can position myself to be with a coach and a mentor to not only tell me the way, show me the way, give me tips to shorten the distance, save me money, give me knowledge, all of those things are priceless. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it costs more not knowing.
Amen. I definitely can agree, trying to start, businesses on my own and not really understanding certain things and getting into some stuff that I have no business getting into. But when we talk about mentorship, networking, how do we get investors to really, make our product look attractive to investors where they would want to invest money in what it is that we're doing?
And that's another good question, because in the beginning, it's not really time for you to get investors. In the beginning, and that's where a lot of people make a mistake, where they're looking for an investor from the very beginning. Investors want to make sure that you have skin in the game. They want to make sure that you are capable of running a business that they're going to give you their hard money to invest in. They want to make sure that you have put your own money into your own project, but we can talk more and more about that. But in the beginning, the best thing to do is to bootstrap. We call it bootstrapping.
And you know what? And I'm sorry that we're running out of time, but I just want to take this, time out to say thank you for a great year. I'm announcing that this is my last show that I'm taping today, and what better way to end a show is to have such a fabulous, smart, intelligent guest. I also would like to thank my Marty Boo, my producer. She's been a great inspiration and so much support for me, and I appreciate her so much. Thank you. And to my man, Harold in the back, Harold Brown, great engineer. He's always scheduling me every show, and he makes sure everything runs smooth. And my new man, Douglas, I want to give a shout out. Thank you so much. And there's one more person. Special thanks to Adam Garcia. He's not with us, but he's been there for a while, and I want to say, if you're listening and you're watching this show, thank you so much. And to every special guest that I've had on my show, you have made me look great. Thank you. I appreciate it. And until then, I'm sorry? Oh, you know what? Well, hey, this is not, we cannot cut and do over. So I would like for Shelon to go ahead and give her contact information of how she could be reached.
Yes, you can find me at Shelon Douglas. ShelonDouglasUnlimited.com. I was about to give out my email address, which is sdouglas or Shelon at BizTechIQ. I also can be reached at area code 213-985-4988, and you type in my name also, and a lot of other information comes up, so I'm easy to be found.
Because I was definitely looking for you, on the internet, and I saw a lot of things. So what's next for you?
Oh, wow. A lot of great things. We're launching our new technology platform within the media and entertainment industries beginning of June of 2015, as well as we're partnering with a host of colleges and universities.